In video 4.5.1, Max and Min were in a large shopping centre when they decided to catch the lift up to level 3 to go to the cinema. They noticed that the lift could only take up to 16 people at a time and that there were 9 people, including them, waiting for the lift. To work out the most number of people that could already be in the lift for all 9 of them to also get in without going over the 16 maximum, they used the following equation. An equation is a number sentence with an equals sign in it. What plus 9 equals 16? At that time, the twins drew a small box to represent the unknown number until they solved the equation. To solve an equation means to work out the value of the unknown, which in this case was 7, since 7 plus 9 equals 16. Max and Min were reminded of their lift equation recently when their cousin, Matt, who is a little bit older than the twins and in junior high school, came over to their place after school to spend the night. Their cousin had some maths homework to finish, so the 3 of them sat at a table and did some schoolwork before dinner. Max noticed Matt writing out, "Solve x plus 9 equals 16," and asked his cousin what this was. "This is algebra, Max. With algebra, we use a letter, which is called a pronumeral, to represent an unknown number. In an equation like this, we can work out the value of the unknown, which works out to be 7. The pronumeral, x, must equal 7 because 7 plus 9 equals 16. "Algebra is a strange word, Matt," said Min. "What use can algebra have in real life? Are we ever going to use it?" "Well," Matt answered, "the word algebra comes from an Arabic word. That's why it sounds strange to you. Anyway, we could call it Marjorie, and it would still be one of the most useful branches of maths. Grandpa told me they use algebra every day in his architectural office, as do engineers, accountants, and all kinds of scientists. There are many situations where algebra is used to find an unknown value using an equation. I saw a movie recently called Hidden Figures, which showed how algebra was used to safely get astronauts to the moon and back. That was an incredible story. You should watch it." While thinking about liftoffs, Max suddenly realized that the lift calculation they had solved, box plus 9 equals 16, was exactly the same as Matt's algebra equation, except the twins had used a box instead of a letter or pronumeral to represent the unknown number. They were successfully solving algebra equations without even knowing it. Matt continued, "Let me show you a few things. Do you have some marbles I can use?" Min went to her room and returned with a bag of marbles. Matt put his right hand into the bag and secretly put some marbles into it and closed his fingers around them. "I have some marbles in my hand, but you don't know how many, so let's just say I have X marbles in my hand. If I now have 4 more marbles to those in my hand, how many do I have altogether?" Max and Min looked at each other. Then Min replied, "We don't know, because we don't know how many marbles you have in your hand." "That's correct, Min," said Matt. "All you can say at this point is that I have X plus 4 marbles, because you don't know the value of the pronumeral X." X plus 4 is an expression, not an equation, because it does not have an equal sign in it. With the equation x plus 9 equals 16, we worked out that x could only be 7 because only 7 can be added to 9 to equal 16. With the expression x plus 4, however, x could be any number. If my hand was big enough, x could be 1,000 or 28,657 or even 1,000,000. Because in an expression, the pronumeral could have a variety of values. It is called a variable. If I decided to take 3 marbles away from the marbles in my hand, the expression would be x minus 3, and the pronumeral x would still be a variable. Let me show you something else. And Matt put his left hand into the marble bag and secretly put some marbles into it. I have just put the same number of marbles into my left hand as I have in my right. So what is the total number of marbles in my hands now? He asked the twins. Max said x plus x, and Min said 2 lots of x, or 2 times x. You are both correct, replied Matt. However, we usually don't say it like that. If Min had an apple in each of her hands, you wouldn't say she had an apple plus an apple, or 2 lots of apple, or 2 times an apple. You would just say she had 2 apples. Similarly, x plus x is properly described as 2x. The same goes for any pronumeral we might use. 5 lots of B would equal 5B. If we had 3F and added 5F, we would have 8F. Writing it just like this: 3F plus 5F equals 8F. Remember, we still don't know the actual value of the pronumeral f. It is still a variable. We just know that, whatever value it might be, we have 8 lots of it. We can also add or subtract other numbers, or even other pronumerals from it. For example, 8f plus 1, or 8f minus 3, or 8f plus 5b plus 4. None of these expressions can be solved while we do not know the value of the pronumerals. Algebra is a very useful part of maths. Sometimes people use it without even knowing they are, like when Max and I worked out the lift calculation.